thing. Like in a religious sense, in different cultures or even different religions, it's something that is very predominantly a way of, I would say, in my case, a way of control. At least that's how I've come to look at it.
Control when not masturbating? Like
no, in terms of like controlling like the desires of a young, curious individual. So like this is something I think that like the majority of people feel and want to do and understand their own bodies and like what's happening. Because your body goes through a change. Like it really does, like it's puberty. Everybody has gone through puberty at some point. But it is something that you are unaware of, and I mean, like tonight, it's not something that is commonly spoken about in an open forum where it's like, hey, so this thing happened to my stuff, and what the fuck is that supposed to mean? So, and I would say that guilt and saying like you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't feel those things was definitely part of like at least my upbringing. Which I would say I proudly riled against. But no, it's something that I think a lot of people definitely deal with.
Divine, what are your thoughts on masturbation?
Well, I used to do it a lot when I was younger. And as an average adult, I would do it, here and there when I didn't want to have to entertain a guy. Because sometimes it's like, should I just take care of myself and eat a sandwich? Or get all cute and clean out for a guy, and then he's gonna come over for 10 minutes, and it's like, you know what, the sandwich is more satisfying than that. But to be honest, I don't do it at all now. The only time I have an orgasm is if I have a wet dream, and it's too far in between. I'll tell you why. Because I had surgery, my back surgery, so I had complications. I suffer from like neuropathy. So I'm actually numb from the waist down in a lot of areas. So that actually like took away the feeling of an erection and trying to have an orgasm or masturbating. So I guess because I ball it all in now because I have no relief. Even when I am sexually active, like I just don't, have an orgasm. So, I find myself waking up sometimes, like my body's like pretty much ejecting itself, and it feels good at that moment, but it's only very minimal, like 30-second relief, and it's like, okay, I woke up to that. And maybe I might grind the bed a little bit when I feel it, because it wakes me up. I mean, if I have to give it up, my bed is taking it, okay?
I love this so much.
I love
this so much.
Right. And I have a very great bed, okay?
Yeah, you do. What's his name, honey?
It's the her. Okay. And her name is Brooklyn. No. But yeah, so I actually miss it because sometimes it's like, God, I just want to like get that out, like just, feel that again. And I even tried Viagra, and yeah, I was able to have an erection, but I wasn't able to feel stimulated. So that's the thing. And as a bottom, I mean, if you guys know bottom, whatever, it wasn't so bad because, I'm not the one giving it to a guy anyways, but just, as time went on, you start feeling like, okay, dang, like, I miss certain things of my sexual experience because I can't do certain things anymore, but I still manage. I still have a good sex life.
Hello.
So yeah.
We know, that's amazing. Well, thank you, that's huge. Go ahead, yes.
Well, first of all, I don't masturbate. I make love to myself. But
honeymoon.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's my wedding night. I don't. The whole masturbating is such the whole making love to myself. Actually, when I first heard of that term, obviously years ago, I didn't know how to do it, so I would just literally fondle myself, and I thought as I was getting hard that I was doing something wrong. I didn't know you were supposed to. Anyways, I never felt any guilt, even though like I did get caught a couple times by my sister, hello, but I never felt any guilt about it until I was in a relationship for a couple years, and I'm a sexual being, and for some reason in this specific relationship, I found myself not really wanting to have sex, and actually kind of embarrassing because I'm 28, but I got prescribed Viagra myself because I wasn't wanting to, and actually even that didn't do anything for me. And I never felt guilty about making love to myself until I was in a relationship at 26, 27, 28 years old. And I basically felt like I was doing something wrong because I was with this person who was complaining about the lack of sex, but then I would like literally in secret, which you shouldn't have to jerk off in secret by yourself at 27, 28, whatever. So I never feel guilty about it until I was in that relationship.
Can I ask you, when you say you mentioned Viagra, so can I ask why you were prescribed Viagra?
It's getting real.
That's a long.
Well, the reason why I asked is because for me, I asked my doctor because of the situation I was going through with my numbness. I said, what can I do? Is it going to come back? And he's like, well, I can give you this. I tried it one time, I experimented, see if that would help me with the stimulation, and did it. So I knew that, well, I'm not going to keep taking these because I don't need it. If I can't feel it, then I don't need it. So that's why I was asking, like, why were you taking it?
So for me, it's not to go into too much backstory, but I have always viewed sex in a relatively non-healthy way, and I would say that stems from being a child and being forced to do things that I didn't want to do, and then being in relationships where there was a lot of not being loyal and basically a lot of toxic things in my life. And then I got into a relationship that was super healthy, so of course I self-sabotaged it, and I just didn't want to have sex with this person, and I think I was viewing sex as not so great thing, because every time I've had sex it was to fill a void, or it wasn't my choice. So I got prescribed Viagra actually by my psychiatric practitioner.
So was it because you weren't aroused by the person that you were gonna have sex with?
Not. I basically I didn't want to have sex with them. Like, I just did not want to, and I tried blaming it on I'm tired, which I think is a lot of people who don't want to go to, or work is stressing me out, or I try to come up with all these excuses, but at the end of the day, I just didn't want to.
So I don't know. I'm just asking, like, what was your purpose for taking it though? Like, how was it helping you to?
I think what he's trying to say is that you couldn't get it up.
Well, so
right, like you had to use this to get it up.
What my practitioner said is, so yeah, it pumps blood to you and it makes you have an erection. And what my practitioner said is, it's not necessarily gonna like help you up here, but what it's gonna do is it's gonna flow the blood down here. It's gonna give you an erection, and you're mentally gonna want to or need to do something about it. So even though it's not so much up here, it was supposed to help down here, and therefore make me want to.
To help clear the mental block.
Can I
No,
say
exactly.
something really quick that I think is really important?
Sure.
Is that it's not that he just couldn't get it up. It's not that. Like, there's a stigma attached with that,
Sure.
you know? It's that it comes from psychological abuse, physical abuse, potentially things that have happened to us in our lives.
Emotional
And emotional, yes, absolutely. And so all of that is very connected to our sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you are getting aroused by somebody, it's not just a physical arousal, right? Some of us are aroused by a lot of different things. And if you have a lot of trauma that doesn't allow you to become physically stimulated. It's not that, you're not capable of having sex. It's just that you literally don't want to. You have no desire to want to do that. And
block you're doing.
yeah, and that's totally understandable, and many, many, many people go through that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So how many of the men here, because we have this on our question, are men taking supplements right now to help with that? Like, is there anybody in the audience that's taking supplements to help with that? Anybody?
Right,
Okay.
Multivitamin?
All right. No worries. Well, let's talk about let's move on to the next topic, guys. Let's talk about female anal sex.
Oh shit.
Let's jump right into
Shit's
it.
getting real.
Literally. Let's talk about female. Devin had to leave right now. He's got nothing. Female anal sex. All right. We talked a lot about the male penis and stuff like that. Let's talk about female anal sex. Who wants to take this on?
I always have poop in there, so I'm not about it. We don't have. I was not birthed with a prostate. I have no particular nerve endings that would arouse me in any way. For the most part, I swear I'm a Pisces. I'm not a scientific person at all, but scientifically, we don't actually have anything except when you get excited from arousing a man during it, that would make you aroused whatsoever. So like, kudos to chicks who can or feel like they can get off by having anal sex. I just, it's not about it.
It's not your bag. Not your bag. Do you have, so you're pansexual, you've been in relationships with men, have you ever had a man say, hey, I want to do this with you, and what happens when that happens?
I go, that's cute.
Well, I'm like, I'll try anything once.
Yeah. Have you tried anal sex?
Yeah, you know the guy I dated. He was like, we've known each other for a long time. He was like, well, this is what I like, and if you don't like it, we're not gonna date. And I was like, well, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it.
Wow. Calvin.
Add something?
Yes, please go ahead.
Hey, Kelvin, do
Yes.
you have a mic that I can help you walk around with it?
We don't actually. You do, but I'm just have it.
Hi, I'm Micah.
Hi, Micah.
All right, so anal is actually one of my most favorite things.
Yes,
so.
please.
Well, let's hear from you, girl. Let's hear from Micah. Get on stage, Micah. Come on. That's what I want. I want to hear the real. This is real sex, baby. Have a seat. You can sit on this. You're good. Tell us about anal sex.
All right, so this is actually a really interesting story and slightly triggering. So I'm going to share. One of my first experiences, my first experience with anal was actually in a form of rape. So I think that some of my actual enjoyment stems from me kind of taking back the experience in a way. I have like this weird, interesting way of like psychologically taking things that have happened to me that are traumatic and trying to use them and steer myself in a direction that's more positive. So in terms of like anal being enjoying, I have found all kinds of awesome toys that are pleasant to experience in many different ways. So there's like really great vibrators, lubes and things like that or whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
And you can get really like funky and fun and cute with it, and they have like really great I don't know, like tails and stuff like that. It's more of like a furry thing, I think, too, but like I enjoy stuff like that as well. And I think that like stimulating both the clit while having anal sex is probably like one of my more favorite things to do after having a couple of shots of tequila, which is kind of sort of, it's a well-known thing. Like people who know me, including like all my partners and stuff like that, I'm poly, it's kind of like an inside joke between all of us. Like, well, once Micah has like a couple of shots of tequila, we know like what's possible this evening.
Anal sex is happening.
Right. And
So would you say it's a physical pleasure that you feel, or is it kind of like a mental, or is it both?
I think because of I'm not really exactly sure why I have a higher pain tolerance, but something about that addition is extremely pleasurable for me.
Okay, so let me ask you one more follow-up question, all right? Because I want to thank you for talking about
I'm
female anal
open.
sex.
Shoot.
How do you prepare for that? And are you prepared for that when it happens? Does that make sense?
I'm a really shitty anal taker, and I'm like, do it now. And so most of the time, it actually doesn't even involve lube. So we try to keep like coconut oil or something like on by, but I'm like, spit on it, let's go.
Girlfriend. Hold on, let me get down. Baby, it doesn't involve lube. Girlfriend.
Spit does work. It's not always the best thing to use.
Now, are you
but-
cleaning yourself out before this, or like how are you preparing that way? That's what I'm asking. Because the gays, we all know we gotta
Their fiber.
we gotta
diet.
prep means
So
like
I
you
have
gotta.
never done any form of cleaning out. Like I have pretty regular bowel movements, I guess.
Girlfriend.
I want your intestines.
But we don't do the mixture thing where we don't do the whole like ass to mouth thing, or you know what I mean. I'm very particular. I get UTIs very easily. Like I'm on one right now. I just had to take my freaking antibiotics. So you can't go from ass to vagina. Like there needs to be cleaning.
I love this.
So sometimes there's a little bit of like, hey, go do that real quick, please, thanks, okay, bye. Like,
Give it up for Micah, ladies and gentlemen. You're amazing. Thank you so much. That was an amazing share.
Okay, real quick though.
Yes.
Now I'm really curious about the cleanup process.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I'm a pro.
So it's no, baby. That's not no, baby. No.
They do
Baby,
it.
baby wife's saying nothing on what we got to go through. Who wants to take this on?
Wait, do you guys need a demonstration?
There is a
You guys
bathroom.
can ask my roommate
We did
about
stretch in the back.
So I'll go ahead and take this one on. So in my bathroom, in my husband and I's bathroom, in our shower, we have a douche, what's it called? Hose. We have a hose. And so
Do you
it's
guys
to the
share
shower.
this hose?
No, I'm the bottom, baby. Come on.
No. Oh, okay.
But we could. That's my husband. Okay, I got everything. But anyway, we have a hose. And so if I'm in the shower, I will put water in my ass, and I'll go to the toilet, shit it out, and I'll do it again, and then I'll do it until it comes out clear, and we're ready to go. So that way we can actually have sex all night and not have to worry about any smells or anything bad or any caca
Any roadblocks?
on the penis, like you'll present.
Chili dog.
Now, there's also, listen, this is called Real Sex, guys. This is a vulnerable space.
I like to call it painting a Picasso. I'm serious. That's what we call it.
Painting a Picasso?
As long as it's not a
Impressions.
Jackson Pollock.
What's the temperature of the water?
Never more than body temperature.
That was from Miss Carnita. Carnita has some thoughts on this.
Oh, is that Carnita?
That's Carnita. Carnita has some thoughts on this because I actually got some tips from Carnita one time. Because
That's the tip?
she told me that I was doing it wrong. Carnita, what's the temperature of the water supposed to be?
I don't know.
Wow. Lukewarm. That's what she said. Lukewarm. So yes, the guys who clean ourselves out. There's also preventative measures where you can take what's it called?
It's a pill or some kind
Pills or
of.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a fiber type
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
You take a day and then it kind of regulates you, so that way you're not with the mushies.
Taco Bell
Solid.
will you as well.
Okay, as someone who lives with two cis male gay men, we have 2 hoses in both showers, 2 bidets, and yesterday I had some juice in the fridge, and my roommate said, "Sorry, that has the fiber tablets in it."
Hello.
Oh, wow.
Wait,
Fiber.
I'm a
Yeah,
little.
question right here.
Question, yes.
I've just never seen so many animals and so well in this quickly.
Okay. All right, we're gonna move right
Wait,
along.
I have one more question.
One more question,
So
yeah.
what do you do if like you're just in the moment and you didn't plan for it? Do you just go
You
for it?
don't.
Do that. You
Yeah.
cannot
You
do
don't.
it.
You
risk
don't.
it. I risk
You
it
do not
double
risk
time.
that business.
Oral
Or you
sex.
shower after. Or you shower after.
Disclaimer.
There's been
sometimes
several times where my
so-
husband and I have done the deed, not clean, and we just go shower after.
But that's
Or I'm
different.
clean, or it's very clean. Sometimes it comes out clean.
If you're in a relationship, though, I think you have that understanding.
Right.
Like you're going in a butt. Like
Right.
you know what's gonna happen. But when you're single, it's not as understanding. And all of my singleness has either been my whole bed is white. I don't know why. It's horrible. And hotels, which hotels love white bedding, and it's not white when it comes out. So I don't know, but I like the disposable enemas. That's my
And this is where the sandwich comes in.
You gotta have a sandwich, right?
Either don't
Dude, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
I
What do
ate
you
the
say?
sandwich while doing the enema.
I was saying don't eat all day
Oh,
to
okay.
bottom cleanly, or
Right.
have the sandwich.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
see, look, let me say this because my expectations, well, the expectations of a guy for me is when like they want me to like be all ready and cute and glamorous and all that. I'm like, so that's why I'm like, okay. And then like I'm doing all this for a guy for why? He's just come over and get his and to satisfy himself.
It's a lot of
I
work.
gotta do my makeup, my hair, clean out, and all that stuff. It's like, no, I can't. So that's why sometimes it's like, sandwich.
I'm gonna eat a sandwich. I love it.
Kelvin, I was told to ask you, what do you do when you travel?
Oh well, you know what we do? We have you have a portable douche.
Travel, yeah, a little
Yeah,
bowl.
summer
It's like
theme.
what you use for
Summer
burgers for
theme.
babies.
Yes,
I bring
portable douche.
I still bring a disposable one. I just empty it out first and fill it up with my own water and
Yeah. The disposable
That's
ones, I
all
don't,
the way.
for me, like, I don't know, maybe I got a big ass, but I got to get up in there and get that shit out.
Live.
So, well.
And ladies, that's the only reason that Summer's Eve should still exist, because you have a self-cleaning oven.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with that shit.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. All right, guys, let's jump right into dick size. All right.
Ooh,
Does size really matter?
Yep.
Does size really matter?
Yeah.
Who here's a size queen? Where are my size queens at? Raise your hand. Size queens. I'm the only size queen? Okay, whatever. Cool. Here we go. Here we go. Size queens, right? So does size really matter? Yeah.
You always look at me.
Because I want to know.
Well, okay, so I have a skewed view, I think, because I used to just have drunken sex, and like that's all the sex I would have. I've never really been in relationships that lasted very long, so I would just get super drunk, have sex with anyone that would pay attention to me, and that's why I didn't know how to pleasure myself either. Like these are guys that won't go down on you, or just they're not great experiences, but size does matter in those cases because you're not really like warmed up, you're not gonna, like, if someone's gonna go down on me for a while and then they have, an average to small penis, then there's a chance that, I'm still gonna come in some way, but I don't know. Yeah, so it depends.
Interesting. All right, Devin, size.
Oh gosh, I relate to you in having a big ass.
Yeah.
I'm just very tall, even though it's quite small. Yeah. Literally. I find that for me, like, less than 6 inches or 6 inches around isn't like getting my spot. And men do have a spot. Men have a prostate. For me, like, it's
deep
in there.
Yeah.
You gotta go. It's like submarining, literally.
Yeah.
But
It's past the second hole. There's a second hole.
second sphincter.
Men have a second
Bing,
hole
bing,
there.
bing,
That's
bing,
second
bing.
sphincter, yeah. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. There's a second sphincter that if
I did not know this.
Oh yeah, no.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
Tell us about the second sphincter.
Baby, that's where the G spot is. That's where the G spot is for men, for sure. When you get past that second hole, you're doing the most.
Like when you're wiping
Get there with a
real good,
fist,
or-
too.
Say that again?
Like when you're wiping real good? Or...
No, baby, this is no. William, size.
Don't even know.
size.
Love it.
I think that's an interesting topic because being single now, I've noticed that for some reason every guy thinks they're hung, which, I mean, 6 inches, you're not hung.
Yeah.
But,
well,
I think with size, it's not the size that matters per se. Of course, I'm a very oral person, so it really does matter like how it feels in my mouth. But it's not the size, but there's a certain type of confidence that goes with certain people, and guys that are smaller a lot of times don't have the most confidence, but there's guys that really that have the confidence of and I'm totally like I can fuck with that, but like I've been with like my one of my relationships, they always talked about having a small penis, and it really wasn't small. It was like average, but they always talked about it in such a negative way that it is like such a turn off. Yeah. But I don't think it's this. I know people say like it's not. It's how you use it, and I think that is a lot to do with it. I think it's really all about the confidence, and honestly, what doesn't get enough. I think recognition is, I would prefer an uncircumcised penis over a big penis because it feels like It's like Mother Nature poppers.
Well, something I want to just really touch base on and just make sure that we are being conscious of is that, you know, 6 inches or whatever, those are average size penises, and no one should feel inadequate.
It's a good average.
That's not
it's a
even
good
average is way below that technically.
Yeah,
but,
fine, like yeah. But the biggest thing, and I think you touched base on it, is that confidence is everything. And it's if you go into a situation and you're like, oh man, I have a small penis, and it's like, a lot of times people aren't really even thinking about that. They're not really. I mean, yes, size queens are. I mean, yes, we are. I'm there. But for the most part, people aren't thinking about that, and they just want to connect with you. And so when someone goes in saying, I have a small penis, well, now it's about your small penis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes.
Question in the crowd.
Anyway, so you're talking about size with men and their penis. Is there size with women as well with their vaginas?
Well, since I always thought like I couldn't have orgasms, I just would tell people I have a huge vagina, and then I just couldn't feel anything down there. But I figured it out. So I don't know if it's. I thought about asking my doctor, you know, but I know what size diva cup I use, so I guess that's like what I can gauge off of. I don't know.
Tuesday.
I would be the opposite. I've actually been told by my OBGYN that I have an extremely small vagina, and they still use like the little sad teenager duck lips on me at appointments. The girls know what I'm talking about. And the fact that
The boys don't.
the fact that
What
I
is
might
that?
actually not even be able to have a vaginal delivery because I'm actually very small. So for a lot of my teenage years, I thought I was broken.